World Culture Festival is one of a kind, of course, a three-day event presenting outstanding voices and talent. It brings together food, music and dance from over 180 countries. Let's find out more about this event and how you can also join in from Art of Living Program's facilitator. That's, of course, Ashie Singh. Thank you so much, Ashie, for joining me this morning. It's the first time that I heard of the World Culture Festival. I didn't even know that something like this existed. And then after, looking into what exactly it is, well, you'll tell us more about it. There's so many people that actually attend this yearly. It's an annual thing. But yeah, what is the World Culture Festival?
Wow, so the World Culture Festival is an absolute celebration of life. And it brings together people from different cultures, a whole range of diversity, and then brings into it the theme of unity through diversity. Because oftentimes we find that diversity is what tears us apart. So the founder of the Art of Living Foundation and the founder of the World Cultural Festival, Sri Ravi Shankar, his mission in this world, in this lifetime, is about recognizing how our diversity can come together for world peace and harmony. So we started this World Cultural Festival as part of our 25-year celebration back in 2006, and lo and behold, attended by 2.5 million people, and there was not a single incident of even injury. And all we could see during that event was just an ocean of smiles and happiness. And that's exactly what the festival is there to kind of, bring out in people. The smile, the happiness, the peace from within. Because, yes, this is a stage to showcase the entire world. 180 countries represented. In this year's one alone, we have 50 delegates from different countries in terms of leadership. So various levels of presidential leadership. But over and above that, 17,000 artists. Yes, last night we watched 10,000 Indian folk dance come together on a single stage.
Wow.
Yeah. In total, there's 17,000 artists performing, food from 180 different countries.
That's amazing,
and the setting for this year's cultural festival is at the National Mall, Washington, D.C. So it's pretty symbolic, you're talking peace in a space, on a ground that is there to actually symbolize freedom, living in acceptance of each other, whilst we have unique individuality. And really, that's what it brings out.
So this year's, every year it's in a different country or location. And this year it's in Washington, D.C. in the United States. For someone who's never attended a festival like this, why should you maybe one day aspire to attend a festival like this festival?
This really brings us back to center and groundedness, and a recognition that goes beyond the I and the me. And remember that most of our problems in society today is because of people focusing on the I and the me, the very individualistic space. And we have that kind of tunnel vision and lose focus that we're actually part of something bigger. And when we get into that space of celebration, one's energy just increases. Getting to that space of meeting other people, we recognize that, there's a whole big world out there other than me. And when we get into that space of recognizing that even in our differences, we can feel the sense of belonging. Baron, it's such an energy to be a part of. Can you imagine meditating with 3.5 million people? That happened in New Delhi in 2016. Last night, I think there were around close to 1 million people in Washington, D.C. that was present. But worldwide, people streamed in. There were millions of people that meditated together. So this is just an opportunity to kind of connect back and recognize that we're part of something bigger, and making that difference, and through that meditative process. So the World Cultural Festival is a stage for showcasing something on a very gross level, right, physical level. But when you take this and you put it back down into a subtle level, and that's when one recognizes that, from a space within, when I'm at peace with myself, I can then be more at peace with people around me.
And it's so important. You mentioned unity and diversity. I mean, that's something we as South Africans, we hear so many times, you know, because we are such a diverse nation. But it's so important to have that unity and diversity. And when I say we hear it so many times, sometimes you don't really, you know, listen to those words and understand its meaning. You know, it is quite powerful, like you mentioned as well. Culture, I think, is also a word that we don't always understand. You know, we see it as something very one-dimensional sometimes, but it's so complex, it's so diverse as well. You know, talk to us about culture and why it is so important to make sure that you appreciate culture. It doesn't matter if it's your own, but also other people's, and also respect other people's cultures. Why is that so important?
So the whole aspect of culture is about what makes me unique, what kind of, I would say in a way, identifies me, gives me an identity. So the culture that a person brings, or a country, or even an organization brings, you know, to the fore is about what are the things we believe in? What is our value system? What are our traditions? You know, and all of this comes together to give us this space and this feeling of identity, and uniqueness. But Baron, at the same time, with all that identity and that uniqueness, there is something that cuts across every single culture, irrespective of where you are at on this planet. And that which cuts through is the values of love, compassion, friendliness, just being good. So the cultural aspect is really important for identity and a sense of belonging. But moving beyond culture gets a person to a place to understand that we're actually one. And the Art of Living Foundation, through these kinds of initiatives, drives this message of a one world family and growing the sense of belonging.
And actually, I think just very shortly, short answer because we don't have any time, there's a lot of world leaders that also attend this World Culture Festival. Why is that so important that they also attend this event and make sure that they have their presence there as well?
It's to bring the voice of unity across nations. Because each leader brings something very unique to the world. And by having world leaders demonstrate the importance and the value of something like this, we let that word sink into the world as a whole.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time this morning. And it's definitely something that I will be looking into in hopefully the near future to attend as well. It's amazing. Millions of people attending this yearly. Where's the next one? So,
Baron, it's actually on key events in key years. Yeah. So the next one will happen in a few years. All that planning is starting to happen now, and we'll know in a very short while where the next World Cultural Festival is happening. In fact, we had a very small mini one here in West Africa, in Nigeria, a few months back, and it was amazing to see our African talent come together. So we're all holding thumbs and waiting to hear, you know, like, where are we going to next? So we'll definitely keep you posted.
Thank you so much, Ashie, for joining me this morning. Of course, that was Art of Living Programs Facilitator and Board Member, also trustee for the Art of Living, Ashie Singh.